Arrowhead Stadium was tense. The air was thick with anticipation. Every fan on the edge of their seat, hoping for a spark to ignite the Kansas City Chiefs offense. The stadium, usually a fortress of noise and confidence, felt strangely subdued, as if everyone sensed something was off. It was week 3 of the 2025 NFL season, and the Kansas City Chiefs were desperate for a win against the New York Giants. The stakes were higher than usual. After a shaky start to the season, the pressure to deliver was mounting with every snap. The Chiefs' offense, usually electric, looked flat. Patrick Mahomes, known for his magic, seemed out of sync with his receivers. The running game sputtered, and every play felt like a struggle against invisible resistance. They'd managed only 2 field goals, clinging to a fragile 6-0 lead. The scoreboard told a story of missed opportunities and drives that fizzled out just when they seemed to gain momentum. Late in the second quarter, another drive stalled. The offense trudged off the field, heads down, frustration etched on every face. The crowd's nervous energy was palpable, a collective groan echoing through the stands. Harrison Butker lined up for a 40-yard field goal, normally automatic. The Chiefs' reliable kicker had been a bright spot in past seasons, and fans expected him to deliver, to at least add 3 more points to the board. The snap and hold were perfect, but the kick sailed wide. The crowd groaned, a wave of disbelief rippling through Arrowhead. For a moment, time seemed to freeze as fans and players alike tried to process what had just happened. That miss was more than 3 lost points. It was a symbol of the team's mounting frustration. It felt like the culmination of every stalled drive, every dropped pass, every missed block. For a team used to scoring touchdowns, settling for field goals felt like failure. Missing one felt catastrophic. The Chiefs were not just losing points, they were losing their identity, their swagger, and their confidence. On the sideline, the mood shifted from disappointment to anger. Players exchanged heated words, coaches gestured in frustration, and the sense of unity that had defined the Chiefs began to fray at the edges. The camera caught the Chiefs' bench, usually focused, now simmering with tension. Helmets were slammed down, towels thrown, and eyes darted nervously between teammates and coaches. The missed kick unleashed weeks of pent-up frustration. It was as if the dam had finally broken, and all the doubts and anxieties that had been building since the season began came pouring out. The offense had failed to finish, and special teams couldn't bail them out. The weight of expectation pressed down on every player, and the realization that nothing was coming easy this season began to sink in. It was a team-wide failure, and everyone felt it. From the veterans to the rookies, the sense of disappointment was universal, and the silence on the sideline spoke volumes. The energy on the sideline was volatile. Every gesture, every word seemed charged with emotion, and it was clear that something had to give. 2 of the Chiefs' most important figures were about to become the center of a storm. Head coach Andy Reid and star tight end Travis Kelce, both known for their leadership, now found themselves at the heart of the team's emotional turmoil. The perfect facade of the Kansas City dynasty was about to crack. The frustration and tension threatened to expose deeper issues within the team, issues that had been simmering beneath the surface for weeks. The next moments would be seen by millions. As the cameras zoomed in, the world was about to witness a sideline eruption that would define the Chiefs' season, and perhaps their future. As the Giants' offense took the field, the stadium buzzed with anticipation. The energy was electric, but it wasn't just the action on the field that had everyone's attention. All eyes turned to head coach Andy Reid and star tight end Travis Kelce on the Kansas City Chiefs sideline. Something was brewing, and the tension was impossible to ignore. Kelce, helmet strapped on tight, was visibly furious. He stormed over to Reid, his frustration boiling over after another stalled drive. The cameras caught every step, every glare. This wasn't a quiet conversation. It was a heated public argument, right in front of the fans and the cameras. Voices were raised, hands were flying, and the emotion was raw. Kelce shouted and gestured wildly, venting about the play calling and the team's inability to score. His passion was unmistakable, and his words echoed across the sideline. Reid, usually the picture of calm, stood his ground and fired back. He wasn't about to back down, not even to his star player. The 2 exchanged sharp words, each defending their perspective. The exchange was raw and unfiltered, a rare look behind the curtain of a championship team. It was a moment of pure honesty, where frustration and ambition collided in front of millions. Teammates and coaches gave them space, knowing this was a moment between leaders. No one dared to interrupt, understanding the gravity of what was unfolding. Kelce, unable to contain his anger, threw his helmet in disgust. Reid pointed back, stern and unyielding, making it clear he was in charge. The sideline was tense, every movement watched closely. Eventually, teammates stepped in, guiding Kelce away to cool off. The confrontation had reached its peak, and it was clear both men needed a moment to regroup. The cameras lingered on Kelce, his anger still visible as he paced the sideline and then slumped onto the bench. His frustration was written all over his face, a rare sight for fans. This wasn't just a bad moment, it was a public sign of deeper issues simmering beneath the surface. The Chiefs, known for their unity, suddenly looked vulnerable. The Chiefs' internal tension was now on display for the world. Fans and analysts alike began to wonder if this was just a blip or the start of something bigger. The dynasty's unity was in question, and the world was watching to see how they would respond to this very public test of leadership and resolve. For Chiefs fans, the memory of Super Bowl LVIII is still fresh, etched into the minds of everyone who watched that unforgettable night unfold. The energy in the stadium was electric, and emotions ran high on both sides of the field. This sideline blow-up between Travis Kelce and Andy Reid felt all too familiar to those who have followed the team closely. It wasn't the first time tensions flared in the heat of the moment. It echoed a dramatic moment from Super Bowl LVIII, when Kelce erupted at Reid after being left off the field for a crucial play. The cameras caught every second, and fans around the world watched in disbelief. That time, Kelce's frustration boiled over. He screamed at Reid and even bumped him, causing the coach to stumble. The intensity of the exchange was impossible to ignore, and it became one of the most talked-about moments of the game. The incident shocked viewers and drew immediate criticism from analysts, former players, and fans alike. Social media exploded with hot takes and debates about what it meant for the team's chemistry. Afterward, both men downplayed it. Kelce apologized, Reid laughed it off, and they assured everyone that their relationship was as strong as ever. They chalked it up to the passion and drive that comes with competing at the highest level. They insisted their bond was built on mutual respect and a shared desire to win. The public display of reconciliation seemed to put the issue to rest, at least for a while. But now, seeing a similar outburst in a regular season game suggests a pattern that can't be ignored. It raises questions about whether these moments are isolated incidents or signs of a deeper issue within the team. What once seemed like a one-off emotional moment now hints at deeper tension simmering beneath the surface. Kelce's competitive fire is undeniable, but repeated clashes with coaches could point to underlying frustrations. Kelce's fire is aimed at the team's performance, and he's not afraid to direct it at the man in charge. His leadership style is passionate, sometimes confrontational, but always focused on winning. The question remains, is this just the price of greatness, or a sign of something more troubling brewing within the Chiefs' locker room? Only time will tell how these fiery moments shape the team's future. The Reid-Kelce drama was the product of a rocky start for the defending champs. The Chiefs opened the season 0-2, a shock for a team used to dominance. The offense, once unstoppable, looked out of sync. Mahomes struggled with timing, explosive plays vanished, and drives stalled. Every mistake felt magnified. Every failed third down added to the pressure. The get-right game against the Giants only intensified the scrutiny. Kelce, the emotional heartbeat of the team, had just 2 catches for 4 yards at the time of the argument. His frustration was personal and collective. The Chiefs' swagger was gone, replaced by anxiety and urgency. The perfect storm for a sideline explosion had arrived. The dynasty was being tested in ways it hadn't been before. The world was watching to see how they'd respond. The Chiefs' struggles run deeper than a few bad games. Mahomes' yards per attempt had plummeted, signaling a stagnant offense. The running game was ineffective. Pacheco and Hunt couldn't break free. Defenses focused on stopping the pass, knowing the run posed little threat. The offensive line was inconsistent. Receivers struggled to get open, and play calling felt stale. Every yard was a grind. Every drive exhausting. This wasn't Chiefs football, it was survival mode. Kelce's frustration was the visible tip of a much larger problem. The missed field goal was just a symptom. The real issue? The offense couldn't reach the end zone. The pressure was on every player and coach to fix it. The Chiefs' identity was at stake. Injuries and suspensions have gutted the Chiefs' receiving corps. Rashee Rice, their most reliable receiver, was suspended. Rookie Xavier Worthy, the expected deep threat, was sidelined with a shoulder injury. Without them, Mahomes was left with a patchwork group: Hollywood Brown, Tyquan Thornton, and Juju Smith-Schuster. Chemistry was lacking, and consistency was hard to find. Defenses compressed the field, making life even harder for Kelce. With no one to stretch the defense, the offense stalled. The pressure on Kelce to carry the passing game was immense. The personnel crisis was fueling the team's struggles and Kelce's visible frustration. The Chiefs' sideline argument became instant national news. Fans saw their heroes clashing, shattering the illusion of unity. The media replayed the confrontation endlessly, debating its meaning. Was it healthy passion or a sign of a crumbling dynasty? Perception matters in the NFL. Opponents sense weakness and distractions grow. For Kelce, the outburst risked his reputation as both a competitor and a celebrity. Some saw leadership, others saw a diva. The public scrutiny added another layer of pressure. The Chiefs' internal issues were now everyone's business. The Reid-Kelce relationship is one of the NFL's most fascinating. Built over a decade, it's a mix of mutual respect, fiery passion, and occasional conflict. Reid gives Kelce leeway, knowing his fire fuels greatness. Kelce trusts Reid enough to challenge him, even publicly. But repeated outbursts raise questions. Is this leadership or insubordination? Reid must balance channeling Kelce's passion with maintaining team discipline. Their bond is strong, but adversity is testing its limits. How they navigate this storm will shape the Chiefs' future. This sideline clash could define the Chiefs' 2025 season. It might spark a turnaround, forcing honest reflection and renewed focus. Or it could signal deeper cracks, leading to more conflict and collapse. The Chiefs must get healthy, adapt their scheme, and rediscover their explosive identity. Leadership from Reid and Kelce is crucial. Their ability to move past this and unite the team will determine their fate. The passion that drives them could fuel a comeback or consume them. The NFL world is watching. The Chiefs' dynasty faces its toughest test yet. Can the kingdom withstand the storm?